Hello everyone, it's me, Nancy Finch, doing Tea with Nan on a Monday. How are you all? I hope you can tune in and have a nice cuppa with me and relax for a few minutes. It'd be really cool. It's actually quite horrible. Well, it's raining and it's lovely, but you don't want to get wet and cold. So although I love walking in the rain, it's not very good. It feels sort of cold, is it? So anyway, I hope you're all okay. Keep warm and safe today. Make yourself feel great. It's a Monday. Mondays are great. I love Mondays, as you know, because they're new beginnings. And with a new beginning, you can do anything, which is cool. So you've got one person. Hi, Louise. Oh, it's so lovely to see you on here, darling. Oh, I'm really pleased you're here. I presume my camera's okay today, is it? Just say yes or no, because I can never tell. Anyway, I hope you're okay, Louise, and you've had a good weekend. I hope everyone's had a good weekend. That'd be cool. So yeah, hope you've gone out in the garden or walked around somewhere pretty and gorgeous, or just found some peace for the weekend. That's lovely. So thank you for joining me. Louise says I look beautiful. Well, it's not that I was worried about, but thank you very much, you sweetheart. No, it's sometimes the camera shows itself really close and I have to sort of adjust it somehow, but oh, bless you. You look lovely as well. Hi, Sue. Oh, lovely to see you, Sue. Beautiful. Happy Monday to you. Lots of hugs. So today I'm going to talk to you about learning how to say no. Now that's going to be a good one, isn't it? I've talked to quite a few of my clients about this because we're quite often compromised in life, aren't we? We get conditioned to do so. We want to be liked, or we want to get on with people. We want to be there for them. We want to serve them. We want to love them. And we're taught from a very young age sometimes to kind of people please. And we've got to be careful not to do that. Hi, Mick. Nice that you've joined us. So we're talking about learning how to say no. Now, I'm not saying a lot of people have this trouble, okay? But we can change it and we can do it without being selfish. It's really unusual to say that because people go, but that's selfish. I don't want to think about me when I've got to think about my family or the needs or what they've got used to having from me. So the idea is that you self-analyze just for a minute. You go in to yourself when you're asked to do something, or you've always done something. You've always done this for that person or this for your job or whatever that's over the top, that basically has compromised you. And I want you to go into yourself and find out whether your inner child really does want to do that, whatever's being asked of you. So, I mean, it might be an obligation you've always done, but it's something to be mindful of. I mean, if you can be thinking, well, I've always done it, but it doesn't make me feel good. Okay. Hi, Kevin. It's nice to see you on here. A couple of fellows on here. Great. Now, men do this as well as women, although I have known a lot of women clients say, oh, I'm always doing too much for others. A lot of men do that too. They want to please their wives or partners or families, and they think it's what they've got to do. But there's got to be balance, hasn't there? Otherwise, it's an imbalance to your body. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining us, darling. I hope you've got your cuppa and you're relaxing with me. Oh, it's lovely. Happy hugs to you all. So, yeah, we're talking about going inside and how we're going to do that. If we've always done something, we don't know we're doing it really, do we? We just automatically do it. I've always put people before me. Always, always, always. Since I was a little girl, I used to sort of make them tea when I was 5 years old and look after everybody. And well, although that feels good, it can also be a little bit imbalanced when all you care about is their reaction. And it's not really healthy. It's kind of codependent. So I've had to learn how to think about what I wanted as well. So I'd be more for people, because it's not selfish to be self-aware and self-nourishing and, looking after yourself, self-supportive. But you have to be aware, and that's the trick. So I remember sort of years ago, I remember someone telling me, what is your yes worth if you never say no? Well, I always said yes. I never said no. And then I realised it was all about value. I wasn't valuing myself enough. Because if I valued me as a person like I value everyone else, I wouldn't have just automatically said yes. I would have thought about it. I would have thought whether it was compromising me or showing me no worth, you see. Hi, Ron. Lovely to see you. So, yeah, basically, what is your yes worth if you never say no? So if you were to think about this week, maybe, just play with this. If I say no, what would happen? You know, if I really don't want to do something, you can say no with love. You really can. Oh, thank you, Ron, for making it. Oh, happy Monday to you. So, how can you say no with love? Well, you're aware of your own feelings. Just tune into yourself like a radio. Just, am I okay? Do I really want to do that? Imagine your inner child inside you, that little part of you that wants to have more fun or more time for his or herself. And check to see whether that is good for you, okay? When you say yes to someone, make sure it measures high numbers in wanting to. That kind of brings me to what I was going to talk about. It's all over the place on my board here. But yeah, I mean, I did a thing a little while ago, Measure Up, and I also did Find Your Tribe on Tea with Nan, so you can always find those if you go back. And basically, they talked about a scale 1 to 10. So 1 being not very good and 10 being great, happy. You know, maybe check to see if when someone says to you, can you do that? Or you've always done that? Or just go in and find out how you feel about that situation or thing or obligation that you've always done, that you've always said yes to. Next time someone asks you something, measure it. Think to yourself, how happy am I about doing that? So if it's under 5, that is not good. How does it make you feel? That's what I'm talking about. How does that obligation or that action that you're offering to do, how does it make your inner child feel? Do you feel you have to do it? Do you feel less happy? Do you feel pressure? Do you feel you've got no choice? Do you feel worried about it? I mean, if it's not a good feeling, it's under 5, right? So 5 and under is definitely a no. You would have to say, I would love to, but on this occasion, I'm sorry, I can't. I hope you find someone else to do that. You can be kind, you can be considerate, you can be respectful to somebody and still say no. And believe me, it's taken me an awful long time to learn that one. I had to teach myself how to do it. And it's quite liberating. It's a really nice feeling to be able to say, well, actually, after all, I do matter. Enough. Same as I have value for every person I know. Every single person. But if I wasn't having value for me and what my inner child, little Nan, wanted, what point would it be? Well, I would be giving of service, yes, but I'd be less of a person. So I've got less to give. So if you want to give more to people, you've actually got to say no sometimes for yourself. So when you first start saying no, it might feel a bit strange. You might think, oh, I wonder what they're going to think of me. But if you have value for yourself and you realise that they're going to value you more because you've shown value to you, then they're going to really appreciate when you do say yes. So what is your yes worth if you never say no? Practice saying no. Think about it and practice saying no where necessary this week. And you can say it nicely. Okay, otherwise, if you don't, guess what? You have resentment building up inside you. And then before you know it, you'll say no and it won't be in a nice way. So many people sit on their feelings and just keep doing the same thing. And in the end, I mean, we expect other people to value us or show appreciation. Perhaps they don't. And then it builds and the resentment builds. And before you know it, it comes out a bit angry or hostile, or it's not yourself. It's not really you. It's your inner child having a tantrum. I'm supposed to have a phone call there. If you could tune in and realise what you're feeling by perhaps imagining your inner child, you can either imagine it on your throat or your stomach here, because these two areas connect to the inner child. So you've got your throat area and yellow, okay? Both of those, hi Irene, both of those work together for your inner child. And if you're going to show yourself some value, then that helps to open that chakra as well. So all those 3 chakras are really, really working well when you say no. When you evaluate how you're feeling, okay? So, I mean, it's really good to gauge it. And as I said, the other talk I've got is Find Your Tribe, or Tea with Nan. And Find Your Tribe is about the same gauge, okay? But if you're under 5, you get away from that person, or you don't spend much time with them, or less time. So under 5, get out, survive. Over 5, you've met your tribe. Okay, and it's a really nice feeling when you start applying that as an understanding, as an awareness, not a judgment on people. If they're under 5, it doesn't mean they're bad people. It means that they are people who just don't fit you really. It's like having a pair of shoes that don't fit. You can't make your feet fit into them. So if they don't match your energy, it's no one's fault. It's just at that time they don't match you. Okay, so under 5, get out, survive. Otherwise it hurts you. It breaks your energy down. It brings your emotional balloon down. And I've talked about this a lot in there, and I've had to talk about it again this week because a lot of people are compromising themselves for lots of people around them, and it's hurting them. It's actually hurting their body system. It brings down your main battery. It makes them feel heavy. It makes them feel less joyous. They don't have an inner child that's happy at all. So under 5, get out, survive. Oh, thank you, everyone. I can't quite read that, but I'll read it later. I've read some of the positive message. Thank you, guys. So under 5, get out, survive. Over 5, you've met your tribe. Now, when you meet your tribe, this could be a stranger in the street or someone you've known for a long time. It could be a new friend or someone family even. Could be anyone that gets you. Someone who understands you and gets you. So if you want to listen to that one, the Tea with Nan I did a couple of weeks back, that is really good. Find your tribe. You can also find it on YouTube as well. So, yeah, absolutely brilliant. Because then when you're with your tribe, you're more yourself. You're more authentic. And when you're authentic, you feel great, don't you? And so does everyone else, because the vibe changes within you and what you attract as well. You end up having a much easier, happier life when you're more yourself, right? And all your body's energies work better. People say to me, God, you look so happy or positive. That's because I'm usually with my tribe. It doesn't have to be a big tribe. It could be just a couple of people. It could be anyone that matches you, that you feel yourself to be really relaxed and your total self is enough. When you see yourself to be enough with that person and you're not worrying about how they feel about you, you're just feeling accepted and loved, that's your tribe. Hi Sarah, lovely to see you, darling. Oh, thank you for joining me. You can always listen to this later and catch up again, of course, if you've just joined me. So once, I had somebody who asked me out for dinner, a friend of mine, and with a gang of people. And I said, who was going? Because you see, I won't subject myself to any situation where my numbers would be low, you see. If I had under 5, I'm just not going to put myself through that for any obligation or shoulds or oughts. I don't do shoulds and oughts anymore in my life, but I used to do lots of them. So I asked this person what number, who was going. And I measured person A was a 6, person B was a 5. I thought, that's okay, I can go. It's not quite under 4, is it, or 5? So, okay, 5s and over are okay. So, but there was another person, and that person that was going was only measuring a 1. And my little inner child would have absolutely not been happy going to that event, not at all. So I told my friend, I'm sorry, numbers are too low, so I can't go. Enjoy your meal. And it was a really nice feeling of value. I can't even describe it in words, but when you start to realize that you don't have to compromise yourself, you can actually change. You can change your situation, how you feel about life, just by tuning in. You can change things that you've always done. Things you've always done that and always done that to please people. And what would they say if I said no now? It's quite nice to do it. And it gives back responsibility to the other person as well. So they can find somebody else to do it or do it themselves, or perhaps when they do see you, they'll value you more and appreciate you, which is what you need. It's not ego, it's appreciation. So I remember when my dear mother was in a hospice, she was very ill and mentally as well, many years back. And I used to feel really sad going to see her. And that was quite a few years ago. And sometimes little Nan, my inner child, I'd have to go. I know I have to go like so many days a week. But on occasions, I used to go along and I used to feel really sad. And I didn't. It was a should. I should go and see her. Not I wanted to, because the result of going to see her that particular day would have meant that I was really unhappy and really sad. And that would have been a vibe I gave out, wouldn't it? What does Julie say? Oh, absolutely, Julie, definitely. Families, toxic, sometimes. I mean, they don't even mean to be, but they can be. They just don't fit you, do they? They don't understand you sometimes, but there you go. So it's not worth the compromise. If you have to do families where I'll go back to Mum's story in a minute. But if you have to go to family events or places that you don't really feel comfortable, your inner child's not comfortable, then just, basically just spend a little bit of time, limit that time so you're not exposed to that for too long, okay? And then you're out of it. Or maybe just try and get out of it altogether. So going back to the Mum story, on a couple of days I didn't want to go because my little inner child was feeling too sad about it, I'd go along because it was a should. You should go. On those days were absolutely terrible. It was the worst experience, and it was, the vibe could be felt, and also she was having a bad day, and it was just awful. So I came away feeling worse. She didn't get any good vibe from me because I was feeling unhappy about it. So if I hadn't have done that, which I learned to do shortly after, I only went when I wanted to go. I'd check in with myself. How do you feel, little Nan, about going to see her today? And I was all right. I was okay. I was over 5. And those meetings that I had over 5 with her were the best because it wasn't a should or an ought. I ought to do this. I should do that. It's obligation, and it doesn't help you. And it doesn't help the vibe you give out. People know it. They feel it. So if you can't do something, don't have a go at yourself. Don't judge yourself for not being able to do it. Oh, hi, John, my dear cousin. Yeah, so don't judge yourself if you don't want to do something. There was a party years and years ago. Someone said to me, are you coming to so-and-so's party? And I had to think about it. Don't say yes straight away. Always think about it first. Or give yourself a minute and say, I'll come back to you about it. If you don't know how you feel, I'll come back to you about it. Hi, Rachel. So yes, going back to the party, I said, okay, give me a minute. And I thought about it. And I went, no, under 5. No, definitely not. And I had to think about how that person that was running the party would make me, little Nan, feel. So it's a gauge on how that person makes you feel, okay? It's not a gauge on what they are all about, just accepting them as they are. We're not judging them, but we're feeling our own feelings, okay? Hi, Linda. So you're kind of just getting into self-awareness, and you're not going to compromise that with love, okay? So you're not, as I say, you're not judging anyone else. You're just judging how you feel as a vibration with that other person. And if they don't match, well, you're not going to expose your inner child to it. That's the best idea. But if they do, if they're your tribe, anyone can be your tribe. You can meet someone for the first time and know your tribe. How many people meet someone and go, I feel like I've known you all my life? They're their tribe. And our tribes can change. I've got another friend who I've known for a very long time. I love her to bits, but on recent occasions when I've seen her, I've realised that the numbers were, when I really thought, I felt uneasy. I didn't know what I felt. So I did a bit of mirror work. I went to the mirror, or I asked little Nan, and that's what I'm going to talk about in a minute. There's a couple of talks you can go to help you. But you could go to the mirror and you could say, what number is that person? Or you could just think about that. And I asked my inner child, and you know what? Came out a 4 and a 3. And I thought, but she used to be a 9 and now she's a 4. Now, doesn't mean, it's not a bad thing. That person may have changed, or you may have changed, but it's not a good or bad thing. Equal value for both people, but they don't fit. So they're uncomfortable. So I will be reducing the time I spend, if not at all, with that particular friend. I will keep her over there, bless her. I'm not judging her. I'm just saying that little Nan was not feeling comfortable in her presence. So it's not, as I say, something you can just think about. It's not easy to do at first. You want to do it. That's a good idea. And then you start to do it and you feel guilty for not wanting that person, to be around you, even if they were low numbers. And quite a lot of people, as I say, with family, have family obligations, or they're looking after somebody and they don't want to do that, or they resent that, but they've got to do it. Well, then find another way, or at least support your inner child, by giving yourself some words of support. The talk I'm thinking of is a self-talk that you can find in the blue section. If you go onto my website and click onto that blue section, so the website is www.nancyfinch.co.uk, and if you click onto the blue section, you'll find all the talks in that area to open this up. Okay, it does help. So you could go to self-talk, and you can do this in the car. You can imagine your little self is there while you're driving, when you're concentrating on the road, or you can do it in front of the mirror talk, mirror work as well. That's very good. So have a look at any of those. But it's really about being aware of what number your inner child would give you as a result of being with that person or that situation. So you have to learn to say no. Hi, Rick. We've got a lot of fellas on here today. It's very sweet. Very good. Thank you for joining us. If you want to share this with everybody, that would be brilliant, because people, if they learn to say no and they're doing it with love, then they're going to be more themselves for everyone else. And collective consciousness, you know, it all changes. There's good vibes and people respond to that. It's like creating our own value will give everyone else value. And by the law of attraction, bring more people into your life who value you. And you'll just be brighter and brighter being yourself. So, yeah, what was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, Tea with Nan, I told you about find your tribe and measure up. I've done that. But it is all about, as I say, feeling, tuning into your feelings, not your thoughts. I should be doing that. I ought to do that. Just because I've done it for years or X amount of time doesn't mean to say you're stuck with it. You do not have to be stuck with that. You can change it. You can change it from this day onwards. The whole week, every single time you feel you have to do something, I should do that, I ought to do that, then just realise whether that is measuring under 5. If it is, get out, survive. If it's over, well done. This is good numbers, okay? You know, whatever the situation or the person that you're looking after or being with or having to spend time and energy with, just be a little bit more aware of measurement. Because when we measure these things, we measure jobs you're in that you're not happy with. I mean, measure up is another one I was talking about from the Tea with Nans. If you go and listen to that, it's basically all about situations. Well, it's the same. If I was in a job that was measuring low numbers, I had to realise that it was time to move on, and I'd have to find the courage and the inspiration and the self-support to move myself from here to a different situation. And there are lots of ways to do it. So a lot of my talks support this. But it is very important we keep our emotional balloon high. Otherwise, our body suffers, our mind suffers, we don't sleep properly, we have hormone problems, men and women. A lot of men have hormone problems as well. Because they're not, if we don't value ourselves, right, going back to my chart here, if we don't show ourselves enough value as a person that we respect for our own needs, then this one here shuts down, this orange, and so does that one. So this is a hormone imbalance, those two, if they're shut down, which I mean the energy, the chakra energy is not flowing in that area. So if they are shut down, you find that you might be more moody, you know, you've got some problems, physical problems in those areas, you know, anything in those areas might be imbalanced and you're just not feeling yourself. You know, you're not really you. So it's really important that you can be the most you can be for yourself, for your family, for everyone you meet, and to find your tribe and stay authentic is the most important thing right now, because we're so heavily influenced by outside, you know, influences and people's different views. And, you know, it's good to stay, you don't have to believe that everyone's wrong or right, but to stay authentic to your own truth is really important. So if you can just do that and think, now, is that measuring under 5? If that person asks you to do something, and very, very gently get yourself away from it so that you can be up here with those numbers. And there's always a way. So if people don't know how to do this and they want more help and they haven't got enough from the talks, then they can always email me, nancyfinch@hotmail.co.uk, or message me on here. And, oh, hi Faye! You can always watch it again when you rewind it. It's lovely. We're just talking about how to say no. Learning how to say no to situations and people, okay? And the reasons why we should do that. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, energetically, collectively. It's for so many reasons. It's really about valuing your feelings to be important. So I hope that's helped people. I hope you can kind of pass it on. And I'm going to put this on YouTube. And I hope when you do, if you want to share it, it'd be lovely. Like, subscribe and share. Get it out there. It's really good for everyone to know it's okay to say no. And once you realise that, you somehow inside you build the courage. And the more you do it, the better it is and the easier it becomes. So I can say no quite happily now without any guilt at all. But I never used to. It took me years to learn that. But it's never too late, okay? So value yourself. Next person that asks you to do something, measure it. Or if you don't know, take yourself away from that decision for a minute and tune into yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and go, What do you want to do? What number is it? And then you won't compromise. And if you don't compromise, you're more for others. Brilliant. So I hope you can play with that this week. Do it. Say no with love, but learning to say no is very important. Otherwise, we carry on doing shoulds and ought's, and that doesn't serve people really. They're only getting half of you really. They're not getting all of it that you can be. They're not getting that happy, vibrant energy that you can be if you're compromised. Your balloon's down here. So you are not really yourself. So why give them half a cup when you can have a whole cup? So the more you say no, the better it is for them. So remember, what's your yes worth if you never say no? Make people worthy. Make people feel your worth as you show your worth. Okay? Lovely. Well, I think I've talked enough on that. My goodness, the time's gone already. I wish you all a really good week. Have fun with this exercise and share it. Really enjoy it. And come back to me with any feedback, because I'd love to know how you get on with it. Because learning to say no can be a very liberating and wonderful experience for yourself. Because you feel for the first time really that you matter enough to not do that thing that you've always done. Anyway, take care everybody. Lots of love. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Julie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It makes sense, doesn't it? I know. And all these things I talk about, of course, I've had to develop and apply myself. So this is why I know it's very important. And you can do it with love, even to family. Really, you can. But you've got to be, as I say, kindness as well. Always be kind when you're saying no, but be kind to yourself initially. Take yourself away from that situation and find out what it is that you want. And that's going to be quite amazing. It's going to feel great. And then you're more for others. Right. Namaste moment. The cat wants in, so I'm going to have to go. Lots of love to all of you. Give yourself a big hug from me. And have a wonderful week. Keep your emotional balloon high. Stay happy. And I shall see you next week at 12 o'clock. Okay. Take care, everyone. Lots of love. Bye. Bye.